we can do this. So I haven't posted in about 6 weeks now. Life and work pulled my focus somewhere else. But I'm not going to make a big thing out of that. I just wanted to say that plainly before we get into what I actually want to talk about, which is something that I've been thinking about constantly. And it is what exactly makes a production brief good. So I've started noticing the briefs that set up a show properly versus the ones that set everyone up for Scrabble and everybody's just running around not knowing what exactly to do. I don't think there's one perfect format, but I've noticed a few things that seem to, to be constant that actually matter. I'll just use a very weird example. I once got a production brief via WhatsApp, with no proper information, no venue capacity, no power spec, not even a clear description of who the client or what the client wants. And I had to build that entire technical information or technical picture myself before I could even code for the job properly. And this made me think about how much of this work happens before anyone sets up or before anyone touches a cable or before a rig is set up. So what makes a good production brief? A good production brief does one job. It lets someone who wasn't in the room be able to reconstruct the show correctly. So if someone can read through, if a technical director or lighting designer or a crew lead can read through your production brief and know exactly what they are walking into, it has done its job. And here's what that actually requires. So I'm just going to mention some of the basic things that I think I think a production brief should have. First, the basics. You're looking at dates, call time, loading time, doors, set time, curfew. Every clock the day is going to run on, not just evening show. You need to include venue name, address, and loading access. You need to know if there's going to be a loading dock. Are we doing street loading or are there stairs? Is there lift available? Is there parking for trucks? All of this information are supposed to be available on that production brief. You're looking at capacity and audience, configuration. Is it going to be a seated performance? Is it going to be standing? Or are you doing a mixed audience, configuration? Next on my list is you now look at the technical scope. For a good production brief, your technical scope has to be detailed. What's being provided by the venue versus what the production team is bringing in. So power availability and requirements. This alone prevents half the on-site disasters that you will face. So you want to understand if there's going to be what the existing house rig looks like, PA, lighting positions versus what needs to be supplemented, right, or replaced. You need to understand what the stage dimensions are and any structural elements. All of these things have to be detailed in your technical scope, especially for rigging. Then the next thing would be to determine what the artist or the client's actual requirements are. You're looking at the technical rider, input list, monitor requirements, backline, and any non-negotiables. You're looking at who has creative authority over what. Is the artist team deciding your lighting cues, or is that fully delegated to the production team or to the production manager? Who is in charge of the money and the chain of command? Who is in charge of the budget? And ideally, you want to have a breakdown by department. So nobody is guessing what they can spend money on. Who signs off on the changes on the brief, or once the brief is locked, and who the technical director can escalate things to, or who needs to give the final say if something goes sideways on the day. These are things that needs to be included in your production brief. And the thing most briefs the things most briefs skip most of the time is what happens if something changes. What's the protocol if the artist adds a song with pyro, right, 2 days before the show, or if the venue's loading window gets cut in half, or they don't give you a green room. A good brief names all of these volatile points in advance instead of leaving it up to the technical director to discover them on the show day or on site. What I've come to believe after almost 9 years in this industry is that a clear brief protects everyone. When the scope of an entire show is vague, someone ends up filling the gaps in real time and under pressure, and that's very expensive in ways that are very hard to see coming. So you don't want to have everybody just scrambling around on show day when you could have provided a very detailed production brief. I'd love to know what you think, and if you're looking for a template of what a production brief looks like, just go to the link in the description below and get that. Let me know in the comments what I probably have missed and what you've noticed in most production briefs, or if you don't even know that you actually need a production brief. I hope this video has given you some enlightenment as to how to run your productions going forward. So I'd love to hear more from you. Go ahead and let's chat in the comments. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.